All right. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Hey, Milo, how you doing, man? Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi.
How's everything?
Good.
How was your week? Did you guys do anything different this week, or you guys still doing the two-step equations?
We started square roots.
Oh, you guys started radicals. Okay. Are you guys doing just like with integers, or do you guys have variables in there?
Just integers.
Just integers. Okay. Oh, that's good. Technically, we've been doing that for a while now, right?
Yeah.
And then I mean, I guess how does it like? How are you taking it? Like are you able to? So it's kind of like this one then, right?
Yeah.
Are you able to do like the operations with just the numbers?
Yeah. It's just like they just want us to do only the square root, not like with fractions.
Oh, the actual square root.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Like well, it's just a one step away from it. So you're technically just doing the square root of 8 or square root of 4, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that already? I mean, like we didn't touch. Like I technically only like roughly touched on that, but you know how to do that, right? Those are easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we don't have to do that as much. Because if you know how to do like the variable parts and then division, because which you guys will do, you guys will end up doing that eventually. Uh, at least you're already like ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for today, if you remember last week, we technically only we covered like a bunch of radicals. Same thing, the radicals, and then rationals, and then like we did the line equations. So we'll do the same thing. Kind of just like repeat everything that we've been doing until you guys get to it, and then I'll try to make sure that like I'm always like a step ahead of what you guys are doing. So are you working on the have you gotten the worksheet for the line equations?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, actually, yeah, if you ask I think I sent it to your mom or dad. It's the same one from last time. Did you already print those out?
No.
Okay, maybe yeah. Do you know how to print out the PDFs?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll just send it to you. What's your email by chance? Do you have an email?
No.
Okay, should I just send it to your mom?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just send it to your mom and then ask her if you can get those because I've already I sent that to her 2 weeks ago, and you know, you if you don't have any homework, and you have free time, obviously it's the holidays coming up, but if you can just like do some of those, so that like you can really, like, you know, besides us doing it here, you can practice it, so that it'll be easy for you once you guys cover it. Okay. All right. So I guess we'll start with these, and let me see. I guess I'll do one of these first, and then tell me on like what would you do for like a first step. So for this, what do you do again when you have like a rational at the bottom, or radical at the bottom?
Multiply it.
Okay. So this one doesn't have a conjugate, right? The next couple ones will have a conjugate. Do you remember the conjugate one? It's kind of like these guys. It's gonna be the opposite, but this one doesn't have it, right? It doesn't have like a plus or minus at the
Yeah.
bottom. It only has like a radical, this square root of 3x squared. So you multiply it by the radical only, right?
Yeah.
In actuality, the one thing you can do is you have this x squared. You could technically take the square root first, right? Just so you don't have to like multiply it by the square root of x squared. You can just take the square root of this guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I would do first. Technically, it's just you just move the x outside like this guy. So it'll be square root of 3.
Yeah.
And then that's what you multiply, top and bottom. All right. So now what do you do?
Distribute.
Okay. So when you distribute these guys and this is what you get. 4 square root of 3 x cubed minus 3 square root of 3 times square root of 3. What is that?
3.
3. Good. Nice. So that's good that you guys are already doing that. So 3 times x. And the bottom, 3x, same thing. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you do next? You just simplify?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're pretty much done. Let me see. I think we're pretty much done. So it's like 4. They just arranged it differently. Square root of 3 minus. Where's the square? Oh, this guy's actually a square root. I see. This guy's actually a square root. I forgot. So, and then there's a 9 here, square root of x divided by 9x. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. So, okay, let's do the next one. So, kind of similar. What's the first step again?
Multiply it by the radical on the bottom.
Okay. I guess a first step would be to look at this radical, and then like, is there anything that you can simplify first?
No.
This k cube, it's being square rooted. So what can you do with this k cube? You can separate it, right?
Yeah.
And then the k squared comes out. There's a k that comes out. So this is k root k, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay. When you have like anything like maybe like a k or k fifth, you can take out the squared there, the fourth, like this guy's k4 times k, like that guy. And it'll be like this guy, right?
Yeah.
So any of those you can do. All right. So when you do this, so let's actually just rewrite it first. So square root of 5k to the 4th plus 3 root 2k. And then this guy would be the k. Actually, just k. K 3k. That's it. 3k. And then what's the first step you do?
Distribute.
You multiply this k root 3k, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, k through root 3k. K root 3k. And then let's see. Now you distribute this guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be k And then you have 5 times 3. And then you have this k to the 4th times k. You could probably do something with that later on. I'm just going to leave it out. And then you plus the 3 times the k. And you do 2 times 3. And then k times k. And then the bottom would be, so you have k. Yeah, we'll just do that. You don't actually have to times it by, let me just do that. You don't have to times it by k. It's just 3 root k, or root 3k. And let's actually edit that one. So it's going to be that and this. And you're going to have 3. And then that's going to be 3k. Right?
Yeah.
So it's just 3 root 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, 5. Okay. So now, with this, what can you do with this k to the 4th? And then this k squared? K to the 4th and k squared.
Could you add them?
So you have them, every time you have a, like an exponent that's like even inside the square root, you could just take it out, right? But then divide it by 2. Kind of like same thing with this guy. So this is k, right?
Yeah.
And then k to the 4th is k squared. K to the 6 is k cubed, yeah?
Yeah.
So what can you do with the k to the 4th? This k to the 4th right here.
Make it k cubed.
Make it k squared, right?
Yeah.
But then the k squared root, when you take it out, it's going to be k squared, right? That's what you do. It's going to be out of the radical. Because right now, this is k to the 4th inside, right?
Yeah.
When you take it out, it becomes k squared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trick with those guys. So you have that, and then you have this 5 times 3, which is 15. And then you have another k here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And plus 3. And then this k squared becomes what?
K.
K, yeah. And it's out of the radical. So now it's 3k, and then you only have 2 times 3, which is 6, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the bottom, obviously, it just goes like 3k squared. And in this case, this k can there's a k that you can cancel out, right?
Yeah.
So that becomes 3 root 15k plus 3 root 6, and the bottom just becomes 3k. Yeah, so this one, we've done this multiple times. These ones are not that bad. So let's see. Okay, so enough of those guys. Let's do the conjugate ones now. So let's move on to 15, and like there's like a bunch of these. Do you remember doing these guys? The conjugate?
Kind of.
Okay. So for the conjugate, there's always a thing that you have to think, like what are you multiplying at the bottom? Because there's like a plus or minus. And then like you can't just multiply it by itself, like what we do with the other ones, because then you can't get rid of the radical. You want to get rid of the radical, right? That's always the goal. You want to get rid of the radical. So like, if you think about it, like the reason why, I mean, I kind of just like covered it, but then told you like, oh, you have to do it. But if you want to get rid of this radical right here, yeah, you have to do that thing, right? You have to times it by its conjugate, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why, because like when you actually multiply these guys out, like let's say for example it's a plus, and let's actually multiply them out. So let's actually say this is 4 times 4, and then you have, the next one is 16. 4 times 4 times root 5, that's 16. And then plus another one of those, right? You have another one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is 16 times 5. So as you can see, you have 4 terms here, but then what happened to these terms? So this one is okay. There's no radical. This one, there's no radical, right?
Yeah.
But this one doesn't cancel out. You still have this radical. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why if you make it negative, so if you make this guy's negative, like you have plus here, and then you have minus 4 root 5. What is it? Let's do it again. 16. You have plus 16 root 5 minus 16 root 5, and then you have minus 16 times 5, right?
Yeah.
So this one, I mean, there's no radical. But then these guys, what happens to these guys? They cancel, right?
Yeah.
So they cancel, and that's the reason why you have to multiply it by the conjugate. So for all of this, every time you see like a plus or minus, you always have to multiply it by the conjugate. Like whatever the square root. If both of them are square roots, you multiply it by the opposite. Like for example, what if it's like 5 root 5 plus like 3 root like 2? Then you have to multiply it by like this guy. It's still gonna be 5 root 5, but then minus 3 root 2, like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it's like 5 minus root 3, you have to just take a look at this guy, and it's plus root 3, like that. Yeah. I mean that's just the concept, and then like you just keep on repeating. It's like okay, and it should work. So for this one, tell me what you have to multiply the bottom and the top.
The denominator.
Yeah, let's see. 4. Yeah, what do you have to multiply it? Like what's the expression?
By itself.
But with what? Like not plus, right? It's a conjugate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have a plus or minus, you have to multiply it by its conjugate. So this one where the second term has to be negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just have to multiply it by its negative. It can't be the same as what we did here, because these ones, it's okay. You multiply it by itself. Everything cancels out. All the radicals cancel out, and that's the goal. No radicals at the bottom. And so that's kind of similar to what you guys been doing, right? Like if or what you guys will be like when you have like something like this. Like for example, if you have, sometimes you wonder like, why can't you just have this guy, right? And it's gonna be like 1 root 10, right? Yeah. You have this right here. There's a radical at the bottom, so it's not its simplest form. So you have to multiply it by itself, since there's no conjugate there. And then so this one is like something like that. This concept is very similar to what we've been doing. Like the underlying thing is you don't want any radicals at the bottom. Okay. So what's next with this guy? Number 15. Like what do you do now?
Simplify it.
Okay. And then so you want to distribute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's distribute. And then so what do you get? You get 12 minus 12 root 5. And then the other one is going to be 16. And then you have minus 16 times 5. Let's see if this is the way to go. So you have 12 here and 16. 16 minus, let's see, 0.3 minus 80. Another one is 12 minus 12 root 5. So what is that one? 16 minus, that's 50 or 60. 64 minus 64, and then 12. And then 3 times 16. Let me see. Why did they choose that one? Oh, 4. 4 times 16. Yeah, 4. So if you did this one, let's see, minus 12 root 5. Okay, looking at this, can you simplify this? Like, is it possible to simplify it?
No.
Like at first, it doesn't look like it. The one thing I would look at first is like look at 12 and look at 64. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what are they? What common multiple or not multiple, but common factor do they have? I think there's 4, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can try 2 first and see if that works, and then from that, then you can see that it can still multiple. It can still like divide out. So when you divide both like the top and bottom by 4, you're gonna get 3 minus 3, right?
Yeah.
And then the bottom divided by 4, you're gonna get minus 16. 16 times 4, 4, 2, 64.
Yeah.
And then another thing that they don't like is they don't like negatives at the bottom like this. So when you see a negative at the bottom, you have to transfer it at the top. So you just have to do this. So when you transfer at the top, you make everything opposite. So negative 3 plus 3 root 5 divided by 16. And that's the answer. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's not. What do you think of that one?
Kind of confusing.
Okay. Yeah, that's why we're gonna take. I guess we can just cover these on today, like step by step. Because what do you think of these guys up top? Are these easier or harder?
Easier.
Okay, but you get the reason why we're doing the steps that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll just practice it more. So okay, 15 is, so we got that one. So 16, same steps. There's a conjugate there's a plus or minus at the bottom. So you have to multiply it by its conjugate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you do this, what does it mean to multiply it by its conjugate? You do just negative 5, right?
Yeah.
And then this second term is positive, yeah?
Yeah.
And so you multiply it by that, right? So
Yeah.
like top and bottom, same thing, so that nothing changes. So now what do you do? What do you do now?
Distribute.
Okay, so let's distribute these guys. So when you do this, is negative 25, and then plus 15 root 3, right?
Yeah.
I think I already see the answer. So, and then when you do the other one right here, let me see. When you do the 25, all right, you do 25 and then minus 3 times 3, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, negative 25 plus 15 root 3. So that's minus 9. So that's going to be, what is it, 16?
Yeah.
16. And how did they get that at the bottom too? So let's see. Unless we did something weird. 25. That's negative times that one minus 3. That's 16. Okay. Can we simplify that one? How did they get 2 right there? Let me think. 25 plus 9 times 3. Oh, shoot. What am I thinking? That's why. It's not. It's 9 times 3. See? I haven't done this. 3 times 3 is 9. That's right. The 3 times 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's negative 27 or negative 27. So that's negative 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That makes more sense. And then so since you have negative at the bottom, what happens? What do you have to do?
Make everything opposite and put the negative on the top.
Exactly. So 25 minus 15 root 2, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how they got. That's how you simplify it. That one isn't that bad. Okay, let's do 17. So for 17, very similar one. Now tell me what you have to multiply it. Top and bottom.
The denominator.
Yeah, but then what form of it? Like, what's actually the thing that you have to multiply? -3, right?
Yeah.
And then what about the other term? Is it negative or is it plus?
Negative.
It's the opposite of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So plus 3 root 3, -3 plus 3 root 3. It has to be that, because like you can't cancel anything out. Okay. Now what's the next step?
Distribute.
Okay. I'm just gonna write it over here so that we have more space. So you have -15 plus 15 root 3. And then you have 9. And from the 9, let's see, the second term cancels out. And then you only second and third term. And then the fourth term is -9 times 3, right?
Yeah.
So it's 9. Okay, that's right. And then that's 9. Then times 3, that's 27. Okay. Let's see if we can simplify this. So the bottom, you have -27 here, right?
Yeah.
So 9 minus -27 is what? -18. -18. So -15 plus 15 root 3. I know you can do something with these guys, right? 15 and 18.
Yeah.
What's the common factor for these ones? What's the common factor?
3.
Okay, so what cancels out up top?
3.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so wait, what was it again? What was the top? When you divide it by 3, what happens? What comes out? Or like, what's the number? Negative what? When you divide it by 3?
5.
5 again. -5 plus 5 root 3. And then the bottom,
6.
-6. Okay, good. And then what do you do with this negative?
Put it to the top and make everything else opposite.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's going to be 5 minus 5 root 3, right?
Yeah.
And then 6. And that's what they got. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not really that bad. Let's do more of them. So let's see, that's 17. Let's do 18 now. Okay, so for 18 right here, let's see. So with 18, kind of similar. What do you multiply it?
The denominator.
Okay, tell me the form that you have to multiply it, like exactly what you have to multiply.
Square root 2 plus 5 square root 3.
Perfect, yeah. That's the one. So 5 root 3. Okay. Now what do you do next?
Distribute.
Okay. So distribute these guys. And then you're gonna get 4 root 2 plus 20 root 3. 4 root 2, 20 root 3. And then the bottom, so the first term. Actually, yeah, what's the first term? Maybe I'll ask you for that. What's the first term at the bottom?
2.
Okay, and then the next term, the second term. The other two cancel out, so there's only 2 terms. So what's the second term?
Negative 25.
Okay, and then times what?
Times 3.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the one. And let's see. Now you simplify, right?
Yeah.
See what we have to do. This is the easy part. Everything else, like this is just arithmetic now. The other one was just that's algebra. So let's see, the bottom first. So this is 75. Minus 2 is minus 73. And the top is 4 root 2. I think we're pretty much done. You just have to move something. And then, so what do you do with the negative?
Put it to the top and make everything else opposite.
Yeah. So minus 20 root 3. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's look at number 19. I think those ones are easy now. Those are pretty much the same ones. So number 19, now you have like another term up top, which it doesn't really matter if there's a root up top. It's at the bottom that we care about. So what do you do at the bottom? What do you multiply top and bottom? What's the term that you have to multiply? Top and bottom.
4 minus 4 square root 2.
This 4 right here, the negative 4. I guess it doesn't matter, but you don't have to switch it. You can make it the same. The first term. So you can just make it negative 4. And then so the second term is the opposite, right? Yeah. So 4, which is correct. Yeah. So like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 4 minus 4 root 2. Okay. And now what?
Distribute.
Okay. So when you distribute, let's put it over here. Let's see. So these ones, you're gonna get a bunch of terms up top. So let's see. So 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then you also have 2 times, so the other 2 times the other one is negative 8 root 2. And the third term is negative 20 root 3. These are the ones that are messy because there's a lot of them. Negative 20 root 3, and the next one is negative 20 root 6. So okay, at least we have the right order. And then the bottom is going to be 16. The other two cancel out, and you only have the last term, which is negative 16 times it by 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, now we can simplify. So let's see, this is 32, so minus 16. And then I guess I will rewrite the top one, just for clarity. Root 2 minus 20 root 3 minus 20 root 6. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then, so what do you do now?
6. Wait.
You can simplify this one somehow, right? The 8, 20, and 16.
Yeah.
Well, what's the common factor?
4.
Okay, so divide the top and bottom by 4. So top first. What does it become?
2. Negative 2.
Root 2, and then the 20 becomes what?
Negative 5.
Okay. Let's see, negative 5 root 6, and then negative 16. It becomes what? Negative 16 becomes
4. Negative 4.
Okay, and then what do you do with this now? You have this negative right here.
Oh, put the negative on top.
Okay, yeah. And then everything is pretty much the opposite. 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus 5 root 6. And I think that's it, right? It's really
Yeah.
simple. It's not that bad. It's just like sometimes the arithmetic of these square roots. If anything, that's the only thing. All right, let's actually erase some of these, make it clear. You can always redo this one. So, okay, now number 20. Number 20. All right, so for this one, let's erase some of these. I don't need this anymore. All right, so for number 20, what do you do? What do you multiply it? Top and bottom.
4 plus square root 5.
Yep. Yep, you're getting a hang of it. That's good. So what's next?
Distribute.
Okay. So what's the term up top? Or what's the terms? There's like 4 of them. Because none of them cancel.
25 square root.
So you have this 25, this 25.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess if you want to do that first, okay, 25. Okay, and then what's the other one? Because you have to. There's 4 terms that you get from this guy, right?
Yeah.
So what's the other 3?
2 and 10 square root.
2. Okay, so that one, yeah. Plus 2 and square root 10.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the other 2?
4 and 5 square root.
Okay, 4 and root 5. Okay, and what's the other one?
8 and 2.
Yeah, root 2. I think that's it. That should cover it. Okay, and then the bottom?
16.
Actually, hold up. This is 25 right here. There was a square root here, so this is supposed to be 5 right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 16.
16 minus root 25. Or 5.
This 5. Yeah. Okay, good. So I mean, this one's an easy one. It was just like I said, it's the arithmetic of the square roots. So the bottom just simplifies to 11, right? That's it, really.
Yeah.
And then I mean, like, if you want to arrange it the way they did, so you have 4 root 5 plus 5 plus 8 root 2 plus 2 root 10. And voila, you have the one that they have. All right, 21. What's the first step?
Multiply the bottom.
Okay, so the bottom, what do you multiply the bottom on top?
4 plus root 5.
Goody. Okay. 4 plus root 5. And then so what's the term up top?
4 root 5
Okay.
plus 12
Plus 12
plus 5
plus 5
plus 3 root 5.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's the one. And then the bottom?
16 minus 5.
Yeah, you guys, that's really good. Yeah, that's good. And then what do you do now? It's pretty much similar to the other one, right?
Yeah.
And then you just simplify these, right? And these guys.
Yeah.
So 7 root 5, there you want it to make it look like what they did. And that's it. That's good. That's good. All right. 22. All right. What do you multiply top and bottom?
4 root 5 minus 3 root 2.
Yeah. See, like once you do this many times, like you're pretty much pro at it. Like it's just what it is. It's that one thing where you multiply it by the negative. That's the only thing. Everything is the same. What's the next thing you do?
12 root 5
Okay.
minus 12 root 5 plus 12 root 6.
Okay. And then
16 times 5
is it minus or plus
plus.
for the 16 one?
Yeah.
It's -4, right?
You said you didn't have to change the first term.
For which one?
The bottom.
I know, like the top. We're still not done with the top, right?
Oh.
There's 4 terms. There's usually 4 terms when nothing cancels out. So yeah, 12 root 5 plus 12 root 6. What's the other 2 terms?
-12 root 10.
-12.
Yeah.
Let me think. -12 root. Which one is that one? -12 root 10. 5. So we did 12 root 5, right?
Yeah.
So that's this guy. That's this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have positive 12, which is this guy right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about this 3 and then this guy, and then this and this guy?
Oh.
Okay. What?
-9 root 2
Okay. Yeah. And then what's the other one?
plus 12 root 6
We have that one already. There's another one.
plus 16 root 15.
Is it plus 16 or -16?
Negative.
Okay. -16. Yeah. That these ones, like, the best way to do these is just draw these arrows. When you draw these arrows, then you won't miss anything. Okay, what about the bottom?
16 times 25.
Okay, good. 16 times 25, or root 16 times root 25, right?
16 times 5.
Okay, 16 times 5, good. And then
-9 root 4.
-9 root 4, which is what?
-9 times 2.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can simplify these. So the top I think is good enough. The bottom. So you have the 16 times 5, which is 80, right?
Yeah.
Minus 18. So what is that? 62. And then I guess let's rearrange the top the way they have it. And plus 12 root 6. And that's it, really. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for those. Let's actually cover the other ones. We'll always repeat those again next time, but let's cover these guys. They're kind of, the one thing about these is you have to, let's go back to where the answers show up. So number 11. Yeah. So let's actually talk about these again, because these ones are always, they always show up, and like you just have to know like the steps. And then for these, it's knowing what your polynomial, or like how you factor this like x squared terms. You have to factor them so that you can actually simplify it. So let's see. Okay, we'll cover these like step by step. So for this, so when you have something being divided, you have to times it by its reciprocal, right? Or like the switch of it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be x squared plus 10x plus 16, x squared plus 6x plus 8. And you multiply this by the what?
The denominator.
So x plus 4, right? Over 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So at first, like, it seems like nothing is going to cancel because you have these x squared terms. So these x squared terms, you have to factor them out. So let's actually work on that here. So, I mean, we're going to have to do this like multiple times because, like, you know, at first, like we did cover it, but do you remember how we did it? Like, what is, like, there's two things that gets multiplied, right? And then the first term is x here and x here, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you get x squared, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this next two terms, the question you always have to ask is what two numbers, when you add them, gives you 10? And then when you multiply them, gives you 16. Positive 10, positive 16. What two numbers are those? So this is the two numbers gets added, gives you 10. And then this one, if you multiply them, gives you 16. I mean,
8
and that's
and
kind of,
2.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's kind of like a puzzle, but yeah, that's the one. So plus 8, plus 2, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the trick there is there's these last two terms. The x is easy, but the numbers that you have to multiply and then add is the trick of the game. So that's the one for the top. Now let's look at the bottom one. So x squared plus 6x plus 8. All right. So the first term is always x, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I asked you the same question. What two numbers do you add? It gives you 6, and when you multiply them, gives you 8.
4 and 2.
And they're both positive, so it doesn't matter. 4 plus 2, right? Like that guy. Yeah? And that's it. Let's actually put them, since they're equivalent, let's put them where they are here. And then let's actually place it here with more room. So the top is x plus 8, x plus 2. The bottom is x plus 4, x plus 2. And then x plus 4 over 1. Yeah?
Yeah.
And now what do you do? Just cancel things out, right?
Yeah.
So what can you cancel?
The 2's.
X plus 2's?
Yeah.
And then what about the other one?
X plus 4.
Okay, and then you're left with just this guy, right? Over
Yeah.
1. So it's just pretty much the same thing. And that's the answer. So, like I said, the trick is this. This is the main thing. If you get this, then you're good. Everything else is pretty much the same. So let's take a look at this guy now. So I mean, I think this is not that bad. Let me say 49x plus 21 over 6x, and then you multiply it by the opposite, right? You switch it.
Yeah.
So 642x plus 18. Okay. What would you do in this case? You can cancel things out, right?
The 6's.
Yeah. So cancel the 6 first, and then next thing would be 49x. I'll just rewrite it over x. Other one is going to be 1 over 42x plus 18. And then now you want to factor something out. 49, 21, 42, and 18. Is there something that you can factor out from those? This one's a tricky one. Let me see. Let me see. So that's 3, 7, 3 will work. The thing is, what about the, let me think. you divide the top by 7, you're gonna get 7x plus 3. You can't divide the bottom by 7. It's gonna be, if you did 3, is it 49 plus 21, 42 plus 18? Okay. Let me think about this one. I know we wrote this one last time. So if you did 3, you're gonna get 11, no, not 11, 12, 15, 1, 1, 4, 1, 4 plus 6. It doesn't do me any good. How did you get 7? Plus 21. I think 7, 6. Oh, you could do 6. Oh, I see. So you did 6 at the bottom. It's 7 and 6. There you go. I think that's the one that they did. So they factored out 7 from the top. And in the bottom, I think it's 6. So it's going to be 7x plus 3. And then 7x plus 3, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So, and then what happens?
They both cancel.
The 7 plus 3? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 7 over 6x, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The trick right here, you have to look at, like, I guess you could just, like, you might think like, oh, you have to do something from the top, from the bottom. Like, this is a tricky one because then you have to just factor out the actual polynomial. You have to, it's not a number you're factoring out like the other ones, yeah?
Yeah.
You have to know that the common thing is actually like an expression. So you have to divide it by the 7x plus 3. That might get tricky, but I guess you just have to do it. Okay. All right, so same with this. Let's do this one. So here, you have to flip it, right? Times it by the flip.
Yeah.
8r minus 40. And then I guess this is just 1. Okay. And then, so let's look at this.
Couldn't you cross out 8r minus 40?
Yeah, good one, yeah. So you can actually just cancel that because it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you just get 7, yeah. And that's it. Okay. That was an easy one. So 14. So for this one, you do the same thing. Times it by a flip. So it's going to be 2a squared plus 16a over 8a. Okay. What's the first thing that you would do, maybe?
Can you cross out 2a?
Yeah. 2a is the thing that you can actually take out. Let me just see. From the top, you have 2a, right? If you times it by 2a or divide it out, you're gonna get a plus 8, right?
Yeah.
And then the bottom, if you have 2a, what do you get? 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. And then that's it. You just cancel that guy, and then you multiply it back by what you have here, right?
Yeah.
And then so that's gonna be a plus 8 divided by 8a, right?
Yeah.
Is this like what I did here? Like, it's always been a number, but like when something is a common, it's either a factor that's a number, a constant, or it could be like what we had here, where it was an expression, or something that's not a number. It's a 2a, the 2 times a variable. It could be any of those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just have to like test those out. Like, like, oh, what can I do with this? And then, when you have something in common, take it out and then do the algebra, like what we did here. And then it should be the simplified form. All right, so with this guy, same step, 4n squared minus 16n times this by n minus 4 over 1. Okay, what would you do here?
Could you cross out n?
Not yet, because n isn't in 4. It's only in 1 here. It's not in 4. So the bottom, what you would do with the bottom one, you can factor something out from the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that thing that you can factor out?
2.
4 and 16. You could do 4. Yeah, and then what about n? Can you factor out 4n?
Yeah.
So let's see, 4n. Let's factor that out. So that's going to be n minus 4. And this is all over 8 over that guy. Let's see, and then n minus 4. Look, there's an n minus 4, right?
Yeah.
And now you can cancel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that guy crosses out with that guy. So you're left with 8 over 4n. And what's the common factor?
4.
Okay, and then so you divide it by 4, both of them. So, and you get 2n, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I guess there's two things. Knowing this thing in the red is the main thing, really. And then everything else is knowing what to factor, either a constant, an expression, or like a variable. You can factor any of those three. So with this guy, let's take a look at this guy. This one is a minus 4, a squared minus 2a minus 8, and a minus 5 over 1. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then so what would you do at the bottom? This bottom guy.
Now you could cross out a.
Not yet. Yeah, since this is an a squared, you have to do what we did here in the red. Yeah?
Yeah.
So everything you see is a squared or a whatever. Usually right now it's squared. Maybe later on it's going to be higher than that one. So you have to do this thing, right?
Yeah.
So with this thing, you always put like the very first thing, because that's always given to you already. So that's a and 8, right?
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself, what was the question that you asked? What two numbers do you add gives you a -2? And then when you multiply, it gives you a -8. And it's a negative. And this is a tricky one, since it's a negative. When you add them, it gives you a -2. But when you multiply them, it gives you a -8.
I don't know.
Try this one. So -4 and then +2.
Oh.
Gives you, when you add them, it gives you -2, right?
Yeah.
And when you multiply them, it gives you -8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle, but then like just have to do, get used to it. So that's the one, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, and if they're equivalent, let's actually plug that in where in place of what we have up top. So it's gonna be a minus 4, a plus 2, and then a minus 5 over 1. And then, so what can you do with the a minus 4?
You could cross out -4.
A minus 4, right?
A minus 4.
Yeah. And I think that's it. So the simplified form is a minus 5 over a plus 2, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it. A minus 5 over a plus 2. Okay. Let's see. All right, so that's 16, 17. Let's see. So this one is going to be, let's rewrite it. B squared minus 2b minus 15 over 8b plus 20 and 4b plus 10 over 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we can do first. So you have this b squared term. Actually, you can actually this other one right here, this 4b plus 10 over 2. You can simplify that one, right?
Yeah.
So what can this become? Is it over 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you divide it by 2, what happens? For 4b plus 10, that's going to be 2b, right?
Yeah.
2b plus 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the second term. Now let's look at this other guy, this b squared. And this is kind of similar to what we've seen, right?
Yeah.
b squared minus 2b minus 15. So let's ask ourselves those two questions. So what two things do you add gives you -2, that when you multiply them gives you -15? And they're both negative. What two things would those be?
-5 and 3.
Yep, you're getting it. So when you add -5 and plus 3, you get -2, right?
Yeah.
When you multiply, then it gives you -15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one. So let's see if we can put that up top. And I don't know why okay, let's just do that. B minus 5, B plus 3 divided by 8B plus 20 and times it by 2B plus 5 over 1. All right, let's look at this one. The 8B plus 20. What did they do with this one? 8B plus 20. Oh, you could actually take this guy out. I think you can take out a 2B plus 5, right? This is
Yeah.
this is actually a difficult one. there's like three things that you have to do to simplify. So it's 8B plus 20. You can factor out a 2B plus 5, right?
Yeah.
And what's gonna be the factor when you divide 2B plus 5? Isn't it 4?
Yeah.
So it's 4, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess this 2B plus 5 cancels with this guy, right?
Yeah.
This. And then the only thing that you have left is 4 at the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then so when you rearrange it, it's going to be B plus 3, B minus 5 over 4. Yeah?
Yeah.
So how's that?
It's good.
Okay. Now it's going to get more difficult. So I guess we'll do this many more times because these do get very difficult. So let's rewrite this one again. But it's good though. It's good. Plus 36, 6b squared minus 2b. Yeah, this is a difficult one because now you have this other term now in front of the b squared. Plus 10. Let's see, 40b plus 48. This looks menacing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's actually try to attack it one by one. See what we can do. So let's look at the top one first. This guy, 10b squared plus 42b plus 36. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me think. I think you can actually take out a 2. You can actually take out a 2 at these guys right here. Top and bottom. You can take out a 2. So let's divide the top and bottom by 2 first. So 10b squared divided by 2 is 5b squared. And then 42 divided by 2, that's 21b. And then 36 would be divided by 2. That's going to be 18. 6b squared divided by 2, that's 3b squared. Negative 2b divided by 2, that's negative b. Negative 60 divided by 2, that's negative 30. Okay, that's good. 3b squared minus 13b is 10 divided by 40b plus 48. All right, let's look at this. What can you do with this 5b squared plus 21b plus 18? I wouldn't divide it by 5. So now it's not just b. Now you have this 5b squared, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just b. It has to be either 2 or 5, 1. I think that's the only one. 5 and 1, right?
Yeah.
5b, and then the other one's b. Now, but since you have 5, it gets more difficult because then not only do you have to do this. So what two numbers do you add gives you 21. And when you multiply them, it gives you 18. But make sure that you account for this 5 though. And I'll just do this one first. So let's see. What two numbers are they? Man, that's a difficult one. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so the solution here, I think, is plus 6. This is a difficult one. And then plus 3. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 18. And when you do this, the 15, 5 times 3, that's 15, right?
Yeah.
Plus 6 gives you 21. 6 times 3 gives you 18, yeah?
Yeah.
But you have to account for this 5b, that's why. When you do your adding. So it's 5b and 6. Okay, let's do the other one right here. So 3b squared minus b minus 30. So the first term is 3b and then the next term is b, right?
Yeah.
All right, so next one. So what two terms do you add gives you negative 1? Accounting for this 3. And then when you multiply them, it gives you 30. What I would do first here is just find things that multiply to 30. Same with this guy. So what two things multiply gives you negative 30?
Negative negative 6 and 5.
Okay, let me just check first. Just make sure we have the right. Next one here is minus 30. Oh, okay. So in this case, it's not that one. It's going to be the 10 and 3. Minus 10 and then plus 3. So when you multiply the minus 10, you're going to get minus 30, right?
Yeah.
And then when you times the 3 and the 3, and that's 9, plus negative 10 plus 9 gives you negative 1, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. like I said, we'll do this again, but like this is the one where it's really packing a lot of these things. So you have this one now, and then you have 3b minus 10 plus times b plus 3. And then, so that's the top and bottom. And then let's look at this other guy. 3b squared minus 13b plus 10. So the first thing is 3b. Next thing is, let's see, minus 13b plus 10. So what two things do you multiply gives you 10, and when you add them gives you 13b. Positive 10. Negative 10 times negative 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Negative 10 times negative 1, when you multiply them, gives you 10, right?
Yeah.
And then when you do this, negative 10 minus 3 times negative 1, negative 3, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, is negative 13, right?
Yeah.
So this is the one. So that's 3 in one thing. So now you have these 3, right?
Yeah.
And let me see if you can get b minus b, let me see, 3b. Okay, let's just substitute them and see what happens. So you have 5b plus 6 and b plus 3 on the top. The bottom is going to be 3b minus 10 and then b plus 3. And the other one is 3b minus 10, b minus 1, and the bottom here is 40b plus 40. And this will be the last one, since I want to let you go early. So 40b plus 40. So yeah, this is what you have, right?
Yeah.
This is what you have right here. So when you take a look at this, what can you cancel? Now you can cancel a few things, right?
3b minus 10.
Okay, and then what's next?
b plus 3.
B plus 3 cancels out. Okay. And then let's just look at like where we're supposed to be heading. B minus 1 over 8. So let's see. Okay. Now let me rewrite it, and then I think you're gonna see something. This is what you have right up top, right? On the left side.
Yeah.
B minus 1, and then you have 40b plus 48. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, you can factor out something from this guy, right? An 8, right?
Yeah.
And what's the factor that you multiply it?
6.
6 what?
b.
5b.
Oh, 5b plus 6.
Okay. And where is that? You can cancel that guy, right?
Yeah.
From here, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one. That's the final answer. B minus 1 over 8. Oh, that was a fun one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's like, we're going to do more of those. But technically, that's like pretty much everything that you need. If you can master, and I'll do my best to, to guide you to how to do that. If you can master this part right here, then that's like the very best thing. If you have, for these, like when you divide, this rational, and then you have this polynomial b squared terms. If you can master this guy, I think you'll be good. But it will take some time. So we'll do more of them, as long as maybe if you have this worksheet. But try you have this worksheet, right?
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah. Try to look for like these other problems. Maybe do 18 to like 22, and then just maybe do some of these and see if you can do them. And well, obviously I think the radicals you already know a little bit, but then for these ones we'll just do more. But yeah, see you next week, and then we'll put you through some of these more. All right.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.